So look, as Ramchandra's code was not working, and we saw that there was some error in, not, there was a mistake in giving the address of the file. So let's see. So look, I'll just remove the HTML. So look, so all my, if you can see on the left side, I have these three um, files, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files. These files are in the same folder. This folder is called front end, and this contains all the three files. That means these files are on the same hierarchy, right?
Yeah.
They are like siblings to each other. So when I imported this index.js file and index.css file, I just used their names. I can also do like this, dot slash, and let's see if that works. So in index.css, so let me make something. Let's give CSS to body. We can also write that on the top. I just write body because that's an element also, right? So inside body, I'm giving border. So body, I'm writing something. So look, so this is not the radius, the border of, this is not the border of heading, this is the border of body, right? Because I gave, let's make it 10 pixels and let's make it red. And let's give some, the H1, the heading element, let's give border to this too. Let's give a border of 5 pixels and black in color. So look, so this is the border of heading and this is the border of padding. So so the whole point was not to play around the colors. The point was that we are still able to access the file.
Yeah.
Dot slash means we can access the hierarchy after that.
Nilesh?
So I write dot slash. Yes, yes.
Sorry, Nilesh. Your voice break. Dot slash means?
Yes, dot slash means we can access the files or folders in the same hierarchy.
Okay, got it.
As in which the file itself lies. So we are writing it in the HTML, the index.html file. So whatever folder this index.html file is in, we can access those files after this dot slash.
Okay.
It's the same as writing this one. Do you understand?
Got it. Yeah.
Dot slash and not using dot slash is all the same. But let's use dot slash now. But look, what if we have a folder? Let's say a folder which is called CSS, and I'm moving this CSS file into that folder. So now this CSS folder has that CSS file, and now I have this JS folder which will have the JavaScript files. I put that inside it. So now CSS, oh man, okay, so there I made a mistake, but that will help us learn. That will be a useful mistake now. So I made the JS folder inside CSS folder. Can you see it?
Yeah.
So I made the JS folder by mistake inside CSS, and this CSS now has this index.css file and a JS folder.
Yeah.
And this JS folder has index.js. Is this folder's file structure? Can you understand this?
Yeah, it's clear.
Is it clear to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it clear to you? Okay. index.js. All right, so let's see. Now we want to um, import this CSS file. So what we'll do is, first we will look at the project structure, the file structure, right? So right now we are index.html file, this one. And we want to get to the look, for now it's empty. Now we don't know where the files are. Let's see, because we are going to attach them now. So we are right now in the index.html file, right here. We're writing into this, we're typing the code into this file. So we'll import the uh, CSS file. So we'll have to look where the CSS file actually is. So there is a folder called CSS. We clicked on it. Then we saw that there is this index.css file inside CSS folder. So what we'll do is, here we'll write dot slash. Look, it's already giving me suggestions, right? It's
Yes.
telling me. So dot slash means it will show me the suggestions which are on the same hierarchy. So in the folder in which index.html is, has the two things in the same hierarchy: the index.html file itself, which is this one, right, and the CSS folder.
Yes.
So I click on this CSS folder. It's giving me this, and inside this CSS folder, if we want to access anything inside the CSS folder, we will write slash, and it's already giving me suggestions. Look, inside CSS folder there is JavaScript folder, JS folder, and then index.css file. So as soon as I type the slash, it's giving me suggestions of these two things: the JSS folder, as you can see this folder sign, and this JS index.css file. So what do we want? We want index.css file, right?
Yeah.
We click on it.
Yeah.
And so that was over. That was it. We could, we have imported the file. So we can also write it. We don't, click or anything. But if that doesn't show suggestions in your screen, like in your software, maybe, so we can also write it. Just write it accurately. .css. So we have entered the path correctly of the file. So href is not the name of the file actually. So now you know that href or src, whatever they take inside the double quotes, is the actual path of the file. Is which is according to the folder and file structure of the project. Now we would like to add the JavaScript file. How would we do that? So we have the CSS folder. So we will write ./CSS. So we will now go in CSS. We will see there is JS folder and there is index.cs. We don't want index.cs. So any suggestion what would we write now?
JS.
Slash.
Yes. JS. And then
Again slash.
then let's open it. Yes, then there is slash and index.js. Index.js, yes. So now we have imported both of the files, and as the index.css file was working already, let's see if the index.js file works. So I'm giving it a predefined function which is called alert, and it says hello. And if that shows us this pop-up alert, then we will know that it works. Let me refresh it. So it says hello, right? Click on it, it goes away. So now we know we have, connected all these files. Another thing is, what if my index.html file is inside a folder inside JS? So I'm making a new folder inside JS. I'm saying it's HTML folder. Inside this HTML folder, I'm moving this HTML index.html. So now look, the whole thing is kind of messed up. We have in the deepest hierarchy, in the lowest hierarchy, maybe we have this index.html. So look, let's get comfortable with the project structure. So we inside this front end folder, we have where is it? Assignment? No. So there it is. So look, this is our folder, front end. And inside this folder, we have the CSS folder, right? Yeah. Inside this CSS folder, we have JavaScript and index. Index is what? This type CSS file. Index is the CSS file. And this is a file folder, JavaScript. So we'll go into JavaScript now. JavaScript has this index.js file, which is type JavaScript file, and we have another folder inside JS. This folder has our index.css file from HTML document. I'm sorry, not CSS file. This is an HTML file. Yes. So now let's have a look at it in the code editor. So the same thing is here now. We just have this good user interface. Seems a bit complex, but it's good. So we have the CSS folder inside the front end folder. Inside CSS folder, there is this index.css file and a JavaScript folder. Inside the JavaScript folder, we have index.js, which is JavaScript file. And so look, in every folder, there is the file that the folder should have, and there is also another folder, except the HTML folder, which doesn't has any folder inside it. It just has the index.html file. So JS folder is having the index.js file, which it is supposed to have, plus an HTML folder. CSS folder has this index.css file, which it is supposed to have, plus the JS folder. So look, so we are in the index.html file. Let's close them all and let's open the index.html file. Okay. Now look, if I refresh the page, first of all, it won't work.
Hello?
Why didn't it work? Can you tell me?
Because the path
Yeah,
of
sir.
the file is different.
Yeah, sir, in
Yes,
that
yes,
class.
yes. And
It's okay, sir. Tell me, sir.
Ramchandra, is it clear to you? Why didn't it work?
Nilam,
Yeah.
Oh,
So what we're
Gmail
going
ID.
to do,
Okay,
we
sir,
can
I'll
either
text it
change
to you
it
now, sir.
manually,
I'll
front
have
end
to look it
slash
up.
CSS
Okay, sir.
slash JS slash
No, in the class he's not there,
HTML
sir.
folder. Let's click. So there it is. So now we can access the HTML file, but we are unable to see the border, though we didn't remove the CSS. Right, the border. Now these things are still there in the CSS, right? Here, these things. So this is because the file path has changed. So what we will do now, we will have to now, if we want to, add the CSS file, we'll have to go up the hierarchy, right? So dot slash won't work. We have to go backwards, right? We have to go in the right now in the index.html file. We have to go in JS folder, and after that we'll have to go in the CSS folder. So to go backwards, we write double dot slash. So look, there's this thing. So double dot slash means it looks things in the parent folder. What's the parent folder of index.html? I'm sorry, the parent of the parent folder, grandparent folder. Double dot slash looks in the grandparent folder, let's say, to make it sound, you know, I guess it makes it sound easy. Can you relate why I'm calling the JS folder the grandparent folder of index.html? Because the parent folder of index.html is this HTML folder, and the JS folder is the parent directory of HTML folder. So double dot slash looks in the hierarchy 2 steps upward, right? So if like that's hence there are 2 dots, looks 2 steps upward. Double dot slash. So it's giving me these 2 suggestions: HTML folder and index.js. Look, in JS folder there are 2 things: HTML folder and index.js folder. That's what it's showing you. Any confusion regarding this?
No.
Hello?
No,
Can you?
Nilesh. No doubts.
Okay. Okay. So to go backward, we write double dot slash. I guess this is not that complex, and I guess I think I'm giving it too much time. But let's keep it that way. I'll try to do it. So look, double dot slash. We'll write index. We don't want index.js, right? We want to go in the HTML folder. No, we don't want to go in the HTML folder either. So what we will write, we'll go one step further upward, because right now double dot slash is in JS folder. We want to go in the CSS folder, right? So we'll write again double dot slash. Now we're in the CSS folder. and it is showing me the contents of the CSS folder. We would like to have the index.css file here. And to get the JS file, I hope this sounds all right. So Ramchandraji, can you tell me how would what should I write here in the SRC to attach this index.js file to this HTML file?
As
Yes, here it is.
yeah,
Yes,
dot
I can
slash
hear you. Yes, double.
double dot slash
Yes.
and one more double dash slash
One more double dash.
index dash js.
Index.js. So, so Ramchandraji, it should now like the index.js has this alert hello. So according if it's correct, we should have this hello pop up there, right? But look, the CSS is running, but we don't see the hello pop up at the top. So Ramchandraji, when you said double dot slash, so just now, so can you tell me in which directory we are right now? If we don't write anything, like this index.html is inside the HTML folder, right?
Yes.
So if I don't write double dot slash, in which directory are we right now? So index.html was there in which you are writing, and we type double dot slash. So it comes two step upward. The first step is uh,
HTML folder.
HTML.
so yeah, so it's in the HTML folder.
Yes.
No, it's not in the it like I told you. It comes two step upward. Double dot slash. If it had been dot slash, it would have been in the HTML folder. Double dot means it jumps
Index.
two steps. The first step is coming out of the index.html file. That means if it comes out of the index.html file, it means it's in HTML folder. But it takes another jump out of this HTML folder. And if it takes a jump out of the HTML folder, where does it land? It lands in the JS folder
JS
because
folder.
right. So right now we are in JS folder. Maishwari, any confusion regarding that? No?
No, 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 no.
Okay,
It's
so
fine.
right now it's in JS folder, and so we are in JS folder, and the index.js file is right inside this folder itself. We just write index.js straight away. We'll access it, and the JS folder. If I close the JS folder, the JS folder is in CSS. So to get and the CSS folder file is in the CSS folder. So to get in the CSS folder, we went one step further. Double dot slash.
Okay.
And inside it, now we are in CSS folder. We have this index.css file. We could access it. So look, index.css was in the outermost hierarchy, the uppermost we can say. And inside there is CSS, so that's why there is one double dot less.
So
This thing
okay.
again, yes, please go ahead.
Like most of the times, file path it will means we'll take backward or forward. Which way we'll go?
We can go either way.
Yeah,
Look,
like most of.
it depends on where we are right now and which file we want to access.
Okay, if it is like
So,
deepest in the sense, we it would be like backward is would be the nice.
no, there is no, these are not alternatives to each other. These are like compulsory. These are, let's say both the ways are necessary. We cannot use forward going like dot slash because it will look for files into this folder itself. To go back in the directory, we have to use double dot. So look, if we had been writing the code in index.css file, and inside that file, if we had to do something like this, we would have gone just like this.
Yeah.
CSS. Remember, for now we are writing code in this outermost file. So, so we would have written dot slash CSS slash JS slash HTML folder slash index dot HTML. If we had been writing this too. But we are writing in HTML file, we have to go backwards. We have to go. These are not alternatives. These this is a way. Like look, if my house is, if A and B are two persons, and if we start from A's house to go to B's house, if we have to take a right turn then a left turn to reach B's house, then the path from B's house to A house would be first a right turn, then a left turn. So the path is the same, right? But if we want to go from A to B, we took left turn first and then took a right turn. But if you want to come from B to A, we take the left turn first and then take the right turn.
Oh, yeah.
So look, so it all depends on from where are we trying to access the file.
Okay.
So if we are, yeah, so if we are accessing the file, writing the code in index.css, and we are accessing the file index.html, we would use slash slash slash, right? We won't use double dot slash because we're not going any backwards, right? But if we are writing code in index.html and we want to reach to index.css, we're we're coming out of the folders. If you can visualize, if you want to go from this file, if you're writing code in this file and you want to access the index.html file, you will have to just go inside the folders. You go in JS folder, you go HTML folder, and then you get the index.html, right? If you were writing the code in index.css, this is this one.
Okay.
And but if you're writing code in index.html and you want to access
Hello?
the CSS index.css file, you have to go backwards in the
Yes,
hierarchy.
sir.
Look,
Okay, sir.
the index file is, so this is the hierarchy, right?
Okay, sir.
In the
Okay, sure, sir.
CSS we have JS, in JS we have HTML, and if we want to access the CSS folder from index.html file, which is in HTML, we have to go backwards,
Oh,
right?
but okay. Yeah, got it.
We
From where we
write
are
double,
actually, yeah. Okay.
yes, we write double dot slash. But if we want to access the HTML file, like if
Okay.
we want to access the HTML folder from the CSS folder, and
From
we
there.
write in CSS, then we
Yeah.
will use slash JS slash HTML.
Yeah.
Got it?
Got it. Yeah, got it,
So,
Nilesh.
yeah, even if when there is any confusion, when we will learn React JS, maybe after a month, if everything goes well, we will uh, requiring this thing, and then have a look at it, and then
Yeah.
it would be more clear to you. And but before that, we will also be practicing on this. I'll send you some link to practice this thing and get used to it, because all it is about programming that's there is all about practicing and getting used to things. Even we can use to the logic as well. So the same logic applies in most of the problems. We don't
Okay.
have to be so dynamic, uh, as long as the front end is concerned. As far as like that much, we don't. There is so many libraries which already do our work. We don't have to write logic for everything. For example, we want to animate something. We want to move something on the screen from here to here. There are libraries which have been written. All the logic is there. We just have to know what function we have to use. So
Okay.
I'll explain that. So here are the things which we just have to remember, and
So
don't
now
give that
HTML
much
and
time.
CSS is almost all over, Nilesh.
Yes, from as I told you, from like what we require is almost over.
Okay.
We are preparing for the JavaScript part,
Oh,
and from maybe Wednesday we'll start working
yeah.
on JavaScript. And till
Oh,
then, I mean, hmm, today is Monday. Like from and tomorrow we will just recap the things and just get used to this file path structure. I'll share you some links. Everything on internet is a path. Look, this is a path, right? Ramchandra
yeah.
ji and Irasto ji. This is a file path, and that's how we are able to see it on the screen. This is a relative. No, maybe let's say this is absolute because it starts from the C and then comes right to the file. Look, and if we come to so look, this is a path, right? What
Yes.
this tells us is that this is the computer domain. This is the website's domain. This means that whenever we click on this .com thing, the internet, I mean the protocols which have been used, the rules, the ways by which internet has been working, it takes us to the computer which is configured with this domain name. So a server is nothing but a code on some computer, right? So whenever we hit this thing on our address bar, so it loads, it talks with the DNS domain name server, which has all the domain names of the websites that are there in the whole world. It connects us to the computer which has this domain name, w3schools.com. Then, then look. So this is the interface that we are seeing. This is the server running on that computer. So that computer is being told by has been told by the uh, you know and has been configured by the engineer, the web developer, that if someone hits this URL, this address, if someone enters this address in the browser, this thing will be shown on the screen. So this is the the server running on this address. So if we want to access some link on this, so let me click on this learn CSS. If I click on this, look, the URL changed, right? It comes to be .com/css/default.asp. So what it is doing is, inside this computer there is a folder called CSS, right? So it took us to that CSS folder, and then there is a file called default.asp, and that file has this code, whatever we are seeing on the screen. And this code can be seen if you're on Windows, just Control U. If you press Control U, you can get all the code of that page in the browser. So this is that default.asp file, and that is being converted into this, you know, uh, into these colors and and all the the semantics, the alignments by the browser as instructed by this code. This is the raw code of the page, default.asp. So that's how internet works. Everything has a URL, unique resource locator, that is called unique resource locator. So this is a resource. This file, this code of this page, the code of this page is this. I just press Control plus U on the keyboard and it showed me this code. This is the whole code of the file, and this is it. This is a resource for us, right? By using this code, we are able to see this website on the screen, and that resource has a unique address. Only then we are able to see it on our screen. If two resources have the same address on internet, how will it how our how will our computer know which resource are we accessing? Maybe one is an e-commerce website and the other one is a study material, right? So if we hit this URL, if there are two things with the same address, then how will our computer know what we want? Every resource, every little, even every single image, even every single, if I Google any images,
Nilesh,
whatever
I'm sorry.
the
Middle
images
I'm
may
not able
be. Yes, yes.
yeah. Can we resume it today?
Okay, okay. Yes, let's wrap it up. And I guess I'm not, telling something which, if missed, would make a huge difference. So if anyone want to stay
Hello, Nilesh?
hello,
Yeah, yeah, Nilesh. Now we can hear.
hello. Okay. So Irasto and Ramchandraji.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Tell me, Neil.
So if anyone want to stay, because
your voice is
we are
breaking, Nilesh.
out of the context, of course. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Yes, I'm saying, I'm not telling right now. I'm not telling something that would make a huge difference. As far as our course is concerned.
Okay.
So I'm telling something apart from that. So maybe my sure. So if you would want to stay, you can. So Irasto
Yeah.
and Ramchandraji, do you both still want to go?
I can stay,
Yeah.
Nilesh.
Then okay, then
Okay.
I'll
So
see
maybe
the
it's just
recording.
5 to 10 minutes.
Sure. Okay.
Yes. Yes, Maheshwariji. Thank you very much and for listening. And maybe we can discuss on the WhatsApp group,
Yeah, yeah,
and maybe
sure.
Rasta and Ramchandraji can tell you what. Yes.
Yeah, okay then. Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Maheshwariji.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, bye.
Bye, Mesh.
Okay. Okay. Bye. So yes. So everything on the
Mm-hmm.
internet has a different URL, unique resource locator.
Mm-hmm.
So those are servers. So look, right now, what we are seeing on our screen, this is a resource, and the resource is
Local.
what is lying on our computer.
Yeah.
Front end, CSS, in JS, HTML folder. This is our resource which you are seeing on the screen, and it has a unique resource locator. It
Yeah.
is a unique address.
Mm-hmm.
This is the URL. So everything on internet, and you can see the slash. So slash separates the folders, right?
Yeah.
It, so this is my computer URL. So slash desktop, we came on the desktop, then we went into the front end folder slash CSS. So that's how internet works. Uh, something is on a computer, something is on a computer, and we just get it through the browser URL, browser address bar. We hit
Okay.
something, we make a request, and that computer sends us the resource which we requested for. And what did we request for? This resource. We request for this
Mm-hmm.
resource. This is the actual address of the resource. So even a single picture, even this ad has a unique resource locator. If I right click on it
Okay.
and I copy image address,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if I want to see just this ad and I paste it here, enter, you see that there is this hostinger.in, the branding. This must be the website which shows the code, which shows this ad here. Look, hostinger.in, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We aren't able to see the
Mm-hmm.
exact something setting of let's take the um, you know malicious use of the content maybe. So that was it. Like for example, if I search for an image, so look, so as we are watching so many images, every image has a URL. So if I copy this image address and I paste it on the address bar and I click on it, it will just show me the image.
Yeah.
We requested for the
Mm-hmm.
image on the URL, and this is on some computer, which is some something. There's this is quite a large URL. It can be pretty, and also if we want to hide the URL, if we don't want to make the user aware of the file structure of our server of our computer, what we can do is we can take the address and we can hash it. Hashing means, like, if you are aware of cryptography means encoding the simple text into some code, right? That's what it has been done. So this website doesn't want us to know the file structure of their system. So that's why we are seeing this code here. So the slash things are being converted into this code kind of thing, because that because in cyber attacks or something like that, if the hackers know what our file structures are, what our
Mm-hmm.
program structure is, how folders are defined in our computer, then there might be a problem. So that's what it has been done here. It has been converted into some code, the whole address. That's why we are not able to see it. So look, so we can now look. This is base 64 code. We can actually convert this. Uh, oh man, it looks something like that. So if I decode it, we can see there are some, percentage signs. There is this JFIF, which might be the file extension now. Uh, the hashing is something like that. Maybe still I can't see some things, but we can decode it, and sometimes we cannot. Sometimes we can. So it all depends on how the security, uh, is on that particular server. Also, there are some. Uh, so that's almost it about URLs and computers. And when you will actually, some the later you will sometime, like maybe after learning the front end, you will try to understand how backend works, how servers work. This will come into handy, and this will be the basic things. I just wanted to mention this because we are going to jump on JavaScript, and if we have some knowledge of how internet works and how we make requests and what are we actually accessing when we see a website, what actually are we seeing. So this is it. This is some code on some computer, and this is the address of this code. We are hitting it. It is giving us that code, and our browser is showing and converting that code to this graphical design and showing to us. So there are something called API calls. I won't go deep into it. Just remember that we're going to learn about them. So then we will use the links in JavaScript and so on. So Irasto and Ramchandra, okay, Ramchandra has already told me, and Irasto already told that Irasto is new to HTML,
Yeah.
but you new to JavaScript and any other programming language as well?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally new to everything, Nilesh.
Okay. But yes, and Ramchandraji also, all of you three guys are making uh, good progress, and um, thank you for doing the assignments and keeping the keeping it uh, to the mark.
Thank you,
So
Nilesh.
sometimes when the assignments are not done on the right time, it takes time, and things get delayed,
Yeah.
don't go as per the schedule. But till now, it's going smooth. That's perfectly fine and amazing. So from Wednesday onwards, we will be looking at JavaScript, and maybe if you can give me um, Okay, now one day is fine. I'll
Mm-hmm.
you know, as per E3, I'll figure out what topics, what addition and omission I can do in
Mm-hmm.
the regular course that I have built. So maybe one day is more than enough to do that, and till then maybe you can. Tomorrow we can have a session, and I'll give you today some links and maybe a PDF to have a read.
Okay.
Uh, and from maybe Wednesday we'll start JavaScript. By
Okay.
the end of January, we will
Mm-hmm.
complete basic JavaScript.
Okay.
By the end of mid-Feb, okay. Also, in February, around mid-February, I'll have to leave for maybe 4 or 5 days.
Okay.
So in advance, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
making you aware of that because I just came to know about this yesterday. There is some urgent